Hey guys, it's me, Jen,
And I'm Liam, and welcome to Unlimited Time Magic.
where the magic is you.
Enjoy the episode, and we'll see you on Main Street. Bye! One little spark of inspiration, sensation,
Oh, Jesus. You don't know the words?
Jesus. No, I hate that ride. My God.
And I do not hate that ride.
Because you
So-
kind of look like Figment.
And this is the last episode. You thought we had
I think
3
that's
more
early.
left.
We don't.
I don't know. There's worse things to look like than Figment. I'm not going to lie. It's
No,
not the
that's
worst
just
thing.
an energy thing. Like, put Jen,
I definitely have Figment energy. Yeah, for sure.
and I have the scientists.
Yeah, for sure. Which
'Cause-
one? Not Dreamfinder. You're talking about the guy from the the guy from the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
I
Run
don't know his
away,
name.
run away. Oh, what?
Spamalot?
Yeah, but what's the
The fact I don't even know what you're quoting, and I just thought it was Spamalot. So I just said, what's
Jesus, take the
Richard Branson?
wheel. Spamalot is about, once I look this up, I'm going to be like, you are a moron. Monty Python. Jeez.
Oh, is that not the name of the film? Monty Python's Spamalot?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but Monty Python was the name of the troupe of comedians that made up Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which then led to Spamalot.
They don't have a pavilion at Epcot. I just want to let you know.
What are we here to
guys.
talk about? British
Literally.
comedians?
British
I'll take
comedians.
British comedians for
80.
500. What is Spamalot?
Really thinking about it, we haven't talked a whole lot about Epcot.
We haven't. And what's funny is we both adore it. So
Yeah, we both like it. I find myself going to Epcot the most for some
Because-
weird reason. Like,
it's the only place I ever invite you.
that is true. She usually goes maybe studios, but probably Epcot.
Probably Epcot.
Epcot, what a treat. We're in the middle of transition Epcot. Those the Moana Way of Water, that part of the park, I think has a name. World Celebration?
Who
No.
the F knows? Like, I'm sorry. I am okay.
Oh, here she goes. Oh no.
So here's the thing.
Oh.
I am an Epcot person. Like, not
Right.
only am I a Disney fan,
Yeah.
I am actually a person who really, really likes Epcot. So I am a
Yeah.
Venn diagram, right? Like we're coming in on concentric circles of interest. I have lost interest in all of the names and all of the things and what's happening. Like I'm of course following everybody that ever talks about any Disney news ever. So I see
Right.
it more than most. And I am bored. I am bored with the news coming out about what's going on with Epcot. And 2 times ago when I was there, and I took the monorail from the TTC over to Epcot, and you can see the huge construction mess. I was like, this just stresses me out. I don't even want to know. Just tell me when it's finished.
Right. And
I went on way too long about that, but I think you
didn't.
understand where
No,
I'm
you didn't. It's
from.
perfect. It's perfect. It's yeah, it's a lot. And I'm trying to relate this to another time that I felt like I never saw a construction wall go down. And I feel like for the Magic Hat at Studios, I felt like those walls were up for a really long time. I might be making that up.
Mr. Igar, take down that wall.
Move that bus. That's what I feel like it is. I think once it's done, it'll feel great.
Yes.
And the whole idea, I actually thought they did an okay job at creating not necessarily a plot, but a theme to go around whatever area you're in. So it's like Guardians of the Galaxy are in space.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't argue that when it's done, I think it will be lovely. But someone
Right.
pointed out the other day, and again, pandemic aside, okay,
Right,
I
right,
get
right.
it. But someone pointed out the other day that it has taken them longer to build Tron than it took to build all of Epcot. The whole thing. So I feel
That's so bad. That's so
we're
funny.
encroaching on it taking them longer to get this middle part of Epcot done. than it took them to build the whole thing.
I mean, I
Like,
couldn't imagine though, from a planning perspective, like coming into the office and being like, so because of COVID, we are currently paused for at least a year,
and
like
we know
two
we
years.
took everything down and it's just a mess, but and
So
so
you'll just have to remember where you left.
exactly, put a pin in it. I I
I'll see you
don't
in a
I
year.
don't have like, although some things with Disney, there is like someone you can blame. I don't, it was a perfect storm of lots of circumstances,
Right,
financial, obviously, COVID, obviously, which led to financial, all
right.
of the things. I'm, I just can't hear about it anymore. Like,
Yeah, I'm
don't
just like,
announce anything. Don't give me a timeline. Just tell me when it's done. Tell me
right,
when I can walk through that park without seeing construction walls again,
right,
and we're done. It
right.
just is getting, it's getting a little ridiculous at this point.
Right. And it's like for me right now, I just like don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Although that blue sky projects that were announced for Epcot, I want to see the Mary Poppins ride.
Yeah, same.
I do. And I'm
Do we
so
think that
scared.
ever was going to be an actual dark ride though? Because that never was actually announced. They just
Yeah, it was
alluded
just
to
an
a Mary,
announced
it could
Poppins
have been,
attractions, right?
or that the rumor was that it would just be Cherry Tree Lane. So let's do this, because obviously those streets in the UK Pavilion look like Cherry Tree Lane because it's London.
London.
So that's what it looks
Yeah.
like. But let's do this. Let's break it down, because Epcot, as we know, has always really been two parks, not one park. It has always been Future World and World Showcase. I know that one of their goals with the change in the middle was that it would feel more cohesive, but the reality is the acreage is absurd. So it
Right. It's
really
giant.
is, in by theme park standards, it's really too big to be one theme
Big
park.
park, right?
The walking, I'm sure y'all have heard the joke, Epcot stands for every person comes out tired. It's
I didn't hear
very
that, but that's
uh
hilarious.
it's very challenging to do Epcot as a theme park touring person with children, to do that in one
Period.
day. It's
Yeah.
challenging, if not impossible. Like, you have to make very strategic choices. So I prefer to approach it as two separate parks, both in planning and the whole thing. Like, I never anymore, even when I'm traveling with people that maybe haven't been to Disney, or I'm doing an itinerary for people as a friend, saying here's what I would do.
Right.
I always make it two different things. And
No,
then
yeah, it's
your
smart.
World Showcase day, since it opens later, is more of like an afternoon into evening scenario. And then you do Future World as a whole separate day all to itself,
Right.
especially with the addition of Guardians.
Right. No, I think that's incredibly smart. I think that's the way to go about it.
And then you don't even take a bus on your World Showcase day. You're going to take a Lyft or Uber over to one of the
Beach Club.
Epcot resorts, or
Mm.
maybe to like Riviera and take the Skyliner over. But what you don't want to do, or what I don't advise people to do, is take a bus in to the park from your theme park or from
Right.
your resort, walk the 9 miles to the
Not nine
turnstiles, and
miles.
then try to walk all the way to World Showcase. It's just too much. Too much.
Too much. It's too much. And
Yep.
frankly, I never do showcase. It's funny because once I started working at Epcot, they have started to creep up the opening time of showcase
To
because
earlier.
Ratatouille, because there are certain characters that now meet only in the mornings versus Epcot ships were always PM. They were 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. pretty much,
Right.
which is the time of showcase.
Right.
So it's funny now that they've slowly started to, what Jen is talking about, try to make it a one park experience, because I mean, that's really what for me dictated the two versions of the park, because you have World Showcase that opens at 11 and you have Future World and the Land all opening at 9 a.m. Right.
Right.
But now they're trying to make Showcase open with the rest of the park. Not only because of Frozen Ever After and Ratatouille, but also Frozen Summer Host, where you can meet Anna and Elsa. They open at 9, I think 9:30. All the characters, Aurora has a set early on in the day, Bella has a set early. So I mean, they're trying to make it a thing. And it is, I like the vibes at Showcase 9 a.m., 10 a.m. It's kind of nice. Beforehand,
I
I'd
do
love to just
too.
walk the area just because it was nice and less polluted with
Same.
people.
Also, I don't love the crowd at Epcot during the festivals in the evenings generally, because
Busy.
it's not just busy. Let's say it.
Tell
They
them.
are drunk.
Yeah.
People are drunk. And I don't enjoy that. Like I
Right.
don't and I don't know what gives people license to think that because they're in Epcot, they can get like there's moments when I've been in Epcot in the evenings during a festival and been like, literally, what the hell is going on right now? Like just
Yeah.
out of control. And so I would much prefer to make go in earlier and then be out of there and then maybe have like a dinner reservation and then you're done, you know?
Right. What is
So
because your favorite sit down restaurants are at Epcot?
yes, yes. I
Tell them.
love
Tell the
so
people.
many, so many. Okay. So it kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for, but definitely beer garden is always number one
Which
because
I've never
it's
done
oh so
for food
I
at
went
least.
I went there the year that it
It
opened
opened.
as a kid. And have been there pretty much every year since. I love the cast members there, especially now that the cultural representatives are back. I haven't been there since everybody came back, and I'm really looking forward to that. Always met so many great kids from Germany, just and like always so lovely and talkative and whatever. Um, I just absolutely adore it. I love the kitschiness of it. I love the communal tables because you never know who you're going to meet. And I don't know, it's just fun. I love the band. Those guys are getting on though. I don't know what they're going to do. Like they opened with the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
So,
And they never close. They're
well,
always there.
some of those
Always
guys,
playing.
they've got to be in their 70s. I mean, they're kind of
It's true.
it's crazy. So okay, so love beer garden. Surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, love Tokyo dining. In fact,
Oh, I've
when I'm
never
there in
been.
March, what's that?
I've never been. And because it's always what is it called? Is it called Morimoto? Did I make that up?
Marimoto Asia is the one at Disney Springs, I
Oh shit.
think. Tokyo Dining is the restaurant at above the department store. You know, they
I've
have the
never,
big
yeah, and I've
stairs.
never been. I've heard it's a bit expensive, so I was like, I've been thinking about going. It's just,
And they opened a new one next door to it. Oh,
mm,
maybe that's the Marimoto Asia is the one next to it. It's Tokyo Dining still exists, but then they
right.
opened a new restaurant next to it that's much more high end and much more expensive. But Tokyo
Oh,
Dining, unless I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Tokyo
all
Dining
of
is
this, all these episodes are literally just going to be us being like Googling, being like,
still
what are we
there.
actually talking
Well,
about?
in my defense, just double checking. Oh, it's temporarily closed because they are doing a refurbishment of Tokyo Dining. I
Oh,
did know that. But they will be reopening.
about the time
I've
you were here,
Tokyo Dining was so interesting. You want to hear my trivia about Tokyo Dining?
tell the
We
people.
took the boys there every time we went because we all always really, really enjoyed our experience. And their sushi chefs were almost all women,
Oh,
which I
cool.
found super interesting. So, because it's me, I asked, I'm like, can I, whenever I watch sushi chefs on TV or whatever, they're always male. I'm really surprised that you have so many women.
Yeah,
Found out that working at Epcot is one of the few places that Japanese women that are training to be sushi chefs can actually get a job because there is so much
sexism.
bias and sexism in that
Wow.
world. So it's very coveted. So women really compete to come over and work at Epcot and gain their experience there. So it's entry level positions that
Huh.
are challenging. Once they have experience, then they can typically go back and find a position, but they don't give women entry level positions, so there just aren't a lot of
Wow.
options. Isn't that crazy?
That's just an, I'd watch that documentary, whatever that's about, just the sexism within
Yeah.
specifically Japanese cuisine. That'd be
Well,
really,
and
really,
it's
I mean, of course
it's
it's in all kind of cuisine, but
well, I was gonna
specifically
say sexism in
cooking.
uh cooking in general, right? Like
Right.
the whole chef world, that's a major deal. Then in Japanese culture, you add a layer, right? And then you add so you can see why it's problematic. But as people
Right.
who are going to Japan here in just a few months, I'm practicing my Japanese. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
get it. And you're
Ohayo
gonna
gozaimasu. That's good morning, formal. And then you would say konnichiwa, which would be good afternoon. If you wanted to say thank you, you're going to say arigato gozaimasu. That's formal
come
thank you.
on.
So I'm working on it.
You're
It's
working on it
hard.
and you're gonna go to Japan and practice.
Japanese is a very difficult, I am struggling to retain for some
Yeah.
reason. It's
I mean,
so hard for me. So I'm
all the
working on it.
it's a hard, are you doing Duolingo?
No, I can't. I even feel intimidated by doing the Duolingo. There's this woman that teaches Japanese on YouTube, that is like your third grade teacher. Like she goes really,
She's
really
like, "Good
slow.
morning," and you're
I
like,
know.
"Good
And you repeat it.
morning."
You repeat it back like six
No, I
times, and
mean,
she pauses in the video and waits for you to repeat it. I'm like, that is my speed.
that's
So
her speed.
Tokyo Dining, one of our favorites. Also one of my favorites is the restaurant, the one and the Mexico Pavilion,
Oh, yeah.
uh, that
I have no
everybody
idea.
didn't like forever. And now I can't remember the name of, but the one that's inside, not the one across
The
the
one that
street.
looks
Although
like
I,
Blue Bayou.
yeah, but I love it. I
I've
find the
never
food
been
there
there
to be
either.
really good. It always got terrible reviews. Do you ever even eat? Like, what do you eat when you go to Epcot?
I eat festival stands. I never
Okay,
eat.
and
But
and
mind
as
you,
we know,
I
I hate
always
the festival
do.
stands.
It's true. I budget like $15 for the day. So I don't budget very much. So one day, I mean, to me, Epcot dining is go to Epcot dining and maybe do a firework package because the packages there are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind doing that, but I mean it's like a $70 night, $80 night to do something like that. So it's like cool if I
Oh,
end up
friend,
going with a group, but
when we all sit down at Beer Garden, the bill is $250.
right. So
So
it's like why would I do that by myself or with one other
right.
person? I never
It's
go
a
to the
lot.
parks more with two or three people.
Yeah.
So it's like, a bill, going out, it's a night out. Do you know what I mean? So and I think Disney knows what people are expecting with the $250 bill. And I think hopefully the food and the service kind of match that, which it sounds like for you at least, Jen, a lot of those experiences do meet.
Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's necessarily worth $250, but it is the experience of it. And we just,
Right.
if we're going to go, in other words, if we're going to go to Disney, that is part of the experience for us. So it
Right.
would almost be like, to me, it would almost be like flying to Disney, staying in a hotel and not going to the theme parks. Like if I'm going to go into Epcot with my family, we have our next big family trip is in January of 2024. And we'll be going to Beer Garden, even though that bill is going to be, just absolutely absurd because we're actually taking my son's girlfriend too. So there'll be six of us.
Oh wow.
But we'll budget for it and we'll know that that's what it's going to be going in. We do eat out. We used to eat out every single night of our trips. Now we're more like every other night,
Oh,
just
perfect.
because prices have gone up and all of the things. So,
What do you do for when you're home? Like,
we'll do counter service. Like you mean when we don't
yeah, when
like,
you're not eating out.
meaning we don't do big sit down
Oh
meals.
yeah,
We'll
you'll
just do
do.
counter service. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than me, sister. I'll do like when I go to Disneyland, I'll do like Blue Bayou or
Yeah.
like one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think the food options at Epcot are definitely. I love. Is it Nine Dragons?
Yeah, I was gonna say best meal for when you've had food poisoning is Nine Dragons. I've eaten there actually twice after having food poisoning, which is interesting. Um,
LOL. As we're talking
got
about food at
got food
Epcot.
poisoning at River Brewing Company or whatever that used to be on the boardwalk.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
trust them.
Mm-mm.
R.I.P. Maybe that's why they're
Mm-hmm.
closed.
Mm-hmm. And then another time I got sick, and both times because after you had some stomach issues, something about just having like really really
Rice.
good rice and
Yes.
and all of that is very
And let
appealing.
me tell
So
you, the service there's crazy. You finish one drink, they replace it in 9 seconds. They
and the
are
atmosphere is
ready.
really cool too. The restaurant inside, like I think it's one of those restaurants that people overlook a lot, and you can typically get a reservation there.
Oh,
The
yeah.
inside of that restaurant is stunning. Like
Yeah.
it is absolutely gorgeous. So
And
I always recommend Nine Dragons.
it feels a little dated in there, but in the nice, like best possible way.
Oh yeah, in like a vintage time capsule way. Totally
Right,
agree.
right. It's really, really cool. And I just think overall for me, Epcot's about the
Yeah.
architecture.
Well,
It
because as we know, those were built by the countries themselves. They
right.
weren't built by Disney. They
Not
were
only were they financially reliable,
right.
but they were great representations to get people, which was something at the beginning of Epcot that I miss. It was a lot more of a representation of like, great, how do we convince these people to come to these countries to visit
Right.
to help
Right.
tourism, which was a great kind of mode, especially before social media. Where it was like documentaries, travel agents, and Epcot that got
Mm-hmm.
people to these countries, and it felt a little bit more tangible. So it didn't feel like, oh, maybe one day I could go visit Japan. No, let's go like talk to a representative in the Japan pavilion.
Do you
And
do the movies?
Do I do the movies? I enjoy them, but I can't tell you the last time I went in them.
Oh,
I think
I do the movies. I am
not
a
since I love
huge
China
fan of the movies.
360.
Same. Love
Love
it.
China,
Love the
and I love
guy's
Canada.
voice. I love Canada. I wish they had let Eugene Levy and what's her name from
Catherine
Schitt's Creek.
O'Hara
I wish they had let them be funnier. Because they're definitely a buttoned up version of themselves. They're not nearly as
to
funny
represent
as,
Canada, to represent
yeah,
their
they were,
home.
they're very soapified, and it's not as fun. But
Right.
um Impressions de France, which is, not shown as much anymore and is probably meeting its very quick
And
demise. I have always found that to be one of the most beautiful films. Like I will go and try
is
to.
it in the Beauty and the Beast theater? Is that why?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah.
And I just think it is incredibly dated, but again, to me, it's dated in all the best ways.
Ways, right.
But the quality of the film is not good. It's not done in HD, and it's starting to not. It's
Well,
not
like I said,
aging
they're
well.
trying again. That was a part of kind of the Blue Sky project. Was
Yeah,
they were going to revamp every single film, and I think they have. Like it is done,
right.
but implementing those things, like I said, like Jen just said, the canon, which I haven't seen the Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara version,
It's not as funny
right? As it could
Martin
have been,
Short. Martin Short was funnier, and the
right?
thing is, as comedians, Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy are funnier than Martin Short. So I know, had they
Oh,
let
tell
them do what I mean, I didn't realize that's a subjective thing, but in my opinion,
but they with the material itself, they could have had a little more fun.
but still beautiful. Let's see, what
Which
films are we missing?
all that architecture back there in Canada by the waterfall. I also heard that steakhouse is incredible. Never been there.
Le
Wouldn't know.
Cellier is. I did not have a great
You
experience
didn't.
there.
You went there once, right? You
I
haven't been
did.
multiple
It
times,
was a
have you?
one and done for me. It was not
Oh,
something I feel I need to do. Um, where we missed a film because we've got China, we've got, oh, of course, American Adventure, which is
oh,
too dadgum long. They have,
beautiful theater though.
it is beautiful theater, incredible experience. The show is amazing. They need to make it shorter. It is just too long.
America,
It just
spread
drags.
your golden wings.
It just drags. And it's kind of depressing.
I haven't been in there in a long time.
It's accurate. Like if you go watch it,
It's
it's
accurate.
historically accurate, but it's kind of depressing. So, an interesting note on
Yeah.
that. There was
Oh,
this whole
tell me.
thing about the World's Fair where all of the like Susan B. Anthony spoke, all of the famous suffragettes. It was
Yeah.
during the women's fight to vote. Just found out that my second great aunt spoke at that same World's Fair. She was
Oh,
one of
that's so
the
cool. How'd you find
she's
that out?
so she's very famous, her woman named Clara Foltz, and she is the inventor of the public defender and the first woman to ever run for Senate in the state of California, and the first woman to be admitted to the bar in the state of California.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
she was a very big deal, and she was an abolitionist and a suffragette, and she spoke a lot. Obviously, she had very well renowned because of her political aspirations and the things
Right.
that she went and did. Plus, she was a single mother of 5 children.
Oh,
And so that she
wow.
did all that while being the single mother of 5 children. She was a great representative for the women's right to vote. But I literally just found out, and I was like, that's so crazy, because I remember that scene in the American Adventure where they're showing the World's Fair. And I was like,
Right.
how crazy
That's nuts.
that she actually spoke at that symposium. So anyway,
Look at you.
I know, I know.
Aunt like niece.
Not quite, but I do try, you know.
But I feel like if you were in different times, Jen, I feel like you would be a fighter of some sort.
I like to think I am in my own way, Liam.
Replying to people on YouTube.
Hey!
Hey, hey, we gotta fight. In fairness, I would fight. I fight
Yeah,
every day of my life.
for the record, dear listener, I have also raised 3 children successfully into adulthood, which some would say
Is a fight in
something
itself.
to be said, well, spoken well of in its own right.
It's true.
And a
I
storied
mean,
career, check out my LinkedIn.
I also have a cat that wasn't my cat, but I have taken the cat under my wing.
We're
Um,
all very proud of Cassiopeia.
she's learning. Where is she? I think she's under my bed.
So we didn't really talk about World Showcase much because I feel like it's so literal. You don't really have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was it? That short little Africa section?
Yeah,
Come on, let's get our
it's
shit
sad.
together. What are
It's
we
sad.
doing? Still, yeah.
Sad.
Guess what? Build back there. Get a life,
Yeah.
Disney.
We
Um,
need more than frozen Coke in that section.
yeah, and
I
it's
mean,
like
I like the frozen Coke, but
I do. But I mean, the reality is I want an actual representation of an African country. Like a
yeah, yeah,
I was like,
that doesn't seem unreasonable.
what's going on here? So, and also, can we fix the smell in Germany?
There, you know what it is? There's got to be a sewage problem. Like there has to
It
be.
has to
There
be because
has to
every
be a
single
drainage
time
sewage problem.
I'm over there, I'm like, this smells like butt.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's
they've got a
awful.
drainage problem. I've been meaning to reach
Germany,
out to someone about that.
she writes down. Gotta do that on my
Well,
to-do list.
because it's one of my favorite pavilions, and I don't want to walk around feeling like I'm worried that the sewage is backing up somewhere. That's not a thought I want to
I'm
be
happy
having.
that like um yeah, I'm not alone in that because every single time that I'm
No,
over there, it smells so bad, and I don't want to hang out there. Also, the Italian pavilion.
yeah.
Mother of God, that pizza is good.
So good. And also, Tutto Gusto, they were only doing, they had kind of changed. I've got to get back over to World Showcase because I feel like so much was closed so much longer because the cultural representatives weren't there. And
Right.
quite frankly, I kind of lost my enthusiasm to go over there and eat because the cultural representatives for me are what make those dining establishments.
Pavilions.
So,
Right.
being waited on from Jay from Daytona Beach at, the Italy, it just didn't do anything for me. I was like, I'm sure you're very nice, Jay from Daytona Beach, but it just didn't have the same, I want to be waited
Feeling.
on by Luciano, that kind of a thing.
I also didn't realize
Which is the
again
actual
until
name of a server at Tutto Gusto who I happen to be fond of. So there you go.
there it is. There's a recommendation for you.
Yeah.
The glass workers in Germany.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Totally.
Because when I did the tour of Epcot, they were like, and the glass makers are back now. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that was a thing. Y'all, especially for your for grandma and grandpa, get them some glass from Disney. That sounds
Or
fun.
kids. My kids used to love to watch the glass blowers.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere where glass blowers exist, there's some in Mexico. They have them over in the Arribas Brothers and the Crystal Shop in the Mexico Pavilion. The LaForge twins could find a glass blower.
They could smell the glass
anywhere.
blower from a
And
mile.
it's such a surprise. Like they're both really into art and glass and
Right.
textiles and all that. So I'm not totally surprised because they both have definitely, like, one of Will's favorite things in his degree program was he would always take these electives in like paper making and screen printing and all of this.
fun.
So they were always
Interested in that kind of thing.
all of that. But we would literally stand there instead of riding a ride. We would have to stand there for an hour and watch the glass blowers. And the kids are like 7, and
you
they're
don't
just
want to learn about the journey of me.
I know. And this is Scott and I like, y'all, we could go, right. No,
You don't want to get into
don't.
somebody's body over at
Yeah.
Body Wars.
They loved it. So anyway, that's a lot to be
Crazy.
said. So not just grandma and grandpa is what I'm saying. You might find
You might find
7-year-olds
7-year-olds.
really wants to watch glass blowers.
Hey, and R.I.P. to Body Wars. What a special, weird little pavilion that was.
And Busby. Poor Busby.
And Busby.
Where is he? Where's Busby?
Probably still in that building.
No,
Probably somewhere.
he's missing. That's the whole thing. He was stolen and no one knows where he is.
So somebody went in there and just took him?
Yes. There's a whole
How did they-
documentary.
On YouTube?
He's missing.
That's
So
so sad. Imagine.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to be in the meetings where they're like, so somebody did break in. Let's be honest. It's not really breaking in because
No.
they go through an unlocked door. Like it's not,
Yes.
it ain't secure, and we have security wandering the premises. It's not like unattended.
Well, they
But-
think that whoever did it, it was like an inside job. Like it was like a disgruntled employee that did it because the way Busby is pretty heavy. Like the actual animatronic, his clothes kept getting stolen. Okay, fine. Like that's easy. That's just somebody going
Taking
because they only
clothes
had
off
a
of
curtain
Busby,
there and
sickos.
anybody could just go in and do whatever.
I would
But
take that.
they took the actual animatronic, which like ripped it off of the mechanism that
Sat
it
on.
controls it. So it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So
Bring Busby back, man.
yeah,
I hope actually that's a character that I think they could bring back in a
adorable,
successful way.
adorable.
I think it'd be really, really great. And then over at the Life Pavilion? No, what is it called? The
The
Land? There it
land.
is.
Yeah.
Living with the Land, man.
Yeah.
The club track that plays in that attraction, I would bust my ass for that every day.
There is
God, I love it.
nothing not to love about that attraction. Like it is just
Like,
happy and
who the
joy.
hell? What would we replace that with?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It can never be replaced.
It's irreplaceable.
And I can skip Soren now completely, which makes me kind of sad.
No,
But
same.
can
I
we
don't like
talk really
Soren
quick
anymore.
about who the hell
Oh, who the hell?
decided that it was acceptable? Like when they watched the preview and they saw that the tower, the Eiffel Tower was leaning
Oh
like
no,
this.
here we go.
Who went? Sure.
Approved.
Who's going to
Approved.
notice? It's fine. It's fine. We're just Disney. Who's going to notice? Probably nobody's going to notice.
Jen
Like,
LaForge would, and she will write a letter.
it's like the Imagineers became the guys that came after my flood to paint my wall, and there was these huge drips, and we're like, I don't think anyone's going to notice that. Like that's who they turned into in that moment. I still, every time I write it too, I'm like, who approved this?
Who did it?
Who
Just tell
said
us.
this was okay? And when they realized it, why didn't they just say, you know what? We're going to go back to the old film until we refilm this particular scene in a way that will work, because this is not okay. It's insulting to all of our intelligence that they just went, it's fine. They're just stupid Disney people. What do they know? They won't notice that the Eiffel Tower is leaning.
What is this? What joke is this? I would agree. Soaring over California is not only better, but it's what we deserve.
Yeah.
And then I actually haven't seen Awesome Planet, the film in that pavilion. I haven't seen it.
No.
But I have.
I saw the original, but I haven't seen the new one.
Oh.
Did you even know there was a new one?
No idea.
Yeah.
I know there was a Lion King one. And then are you talking about the one before Lion King?
There was one before Lion King. Then there was the Lion King one. And now there's a new one that just came out like 2 years ago.
Well, I can't wait. Maybe I'll do it one day. I've also eaten downstairs, which I do enjoy. It all feels very fresh.
Yeah, Sunshine Seasons is that's a good choice, especially if you are a person with picky eaters in your party, because everyone can just go get what sounds good to them. It's buffeteria style.
Buffeteria. That's my
which
drag
always
name.
Any picky eaters in your family, the buffeteria is your best friend, because everybody can get something that they would be okay with, and it's all good.
And then over at the Seas hasn't changed.
Yep.
Looks good. See the manatees.
Yeah, you got to go visit the manatees.
And I took a tour of upstairs too, which is really, really cool. Sometimes they do that as a special magical moment, and it's really, really fun. Because sometimes you'll just see the dolphin pop up and you'll be like, yeah.
I would love to do that. I've only ever done I did a Cigna blogger event at Test Track. And so I've been in the upstairs of that, where that's really cool
area.
But yeah, I've never been up there and Living with the Land.
It should be fun. Also, Mission Space and Test Track. I want to kick them.
Well, now have you eaten at Garden Grill? We didn't touch on Garden Grill.
I haven't eaten at Garden Grill. Is it good?
Liam, Garden Grill's amazing. And Mickey comes over. The character interactions at Garden Grill are the best on property. Best on property.
Wow. Look at
hands down best
From
on
an
property.
Entertainment perspective, everybody hates Garden Grill.
Why?
Because it's a long day.
Well, the thing with Garden Grill is it's small. It's a small restaurant. So you get multiple interactions with the characters. Right. And to me, it's the best place to see Mickey. Especially
and he's in little overalls.
He's in little overalls. He talks to you about how he made the food. They do serve quite a bit of the food in there that they make in the pavilion, which is awesome. The food is remarkably fresh and really good. I always recommend it like midway through a trip when everyone's just sick of like theme park food. It's actual like good vegetables, good salad, all of the stuff. We love Garden Grill. Yeah, love it.
We'll have to go there. I've never been.
Yeah.
But yeah, and did you like your experience at Space 420 or whatever it's called?
Such a ripoff. Such a ripoff. Holy
did you make a video of this?
Did I what?
Did you make a video about this?
I didn't do a whole video dedicated to it, but when I went
Did you
to it,
rip
I
into it
talked
there?
about it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's a
Oh,
complete
wow.
ripoff. Here's when
Oh,
it's not a ripoff. If you want to experience it, just go to the lounge and what I found out after the fact is you can actually sit down at the tables and get the appetizers and a drink. You don't have to order the prefix menu. So even if whether you get a table or whether you sit in the lounge, the prefix menu
and you
is
can
a
just walk up and
ripoff.
be like, "Can I go to the bar?"
You still have to do they have a walk up option.
Yeah.
And you may have to wait a little while, but and you can also now make reservations for the lounge
Oh, great.
as an actual ADR, and then just get like a drink and like the broccoli was amazing. Individual dishes were very, very good. But I think I paid $150 for one person for my meal and a drink. And I was like,
Jesus.
this is
Got it.
obscene by the time I paid my tip. I because I remember thinking if I were to bring my whole family here, it would be $500 for this meal. Like
No.
just out of step with reality for me. I suppose there's somebody that would do
Love
that, but
space.
it was to me, it is gimmicky and it is overpriced.
It's the same
So
company that does Rainforest Cafe. So
yeah,
what
yeah,
does it matter? Y'all, what a journey Epcot's been.
yep.
Please follow us on Instagram. Although we're ending the show, we're still going to be checking in on y'all, hanging out. So please follow us on Instagram at Unlimited Time Magic and have a great week.
Love you. Bye.
Another episode of Unlimited Time Magic is through. Please follow us on Instagram at Unlimited Time Magic. Support us on Patreon if you'd like to do that. Plenty of benefits. It's really, really great. And we're not on Main Street, but we will see you on Main Street. Look, it's out there. Nailed it.